Hi you guys, I just finished a painting today and this one has been really interesting because I started out recording myself painting it and I ended up stopping the recording. So I may share with you what I have from that, but I was getting discouraged with this painting and I kept having to take things off and redo them and it just wasn't feeling right. And so I kind of just got discouraged and quit recording. And so I don't have everything to share, but I can share with you the finished product and I will do that right now. Okay, so this is the finished painting. I'm going to call this painting Fruitful. And this is another one that's just pretty much entirely symbolic. These three women represent all women. And this painting is about the eternal role of women. And this tree is representative of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which Adam and Eve partook of in the Garden of Eden. And this fruit was what brought on mortality. And so taking that symbolism and using it here, I am trying to show how women are offerers of this fruit, or in other words, women offer mortality to the souls that are waiting in heaven to come to earth and to experience mortality and gain a mortal body and have this earthly experience that we're all having. And so women are that doorway to mortality, and they offer this fruit, and then the souls in heaven choose to partake of the fruit as well and come to earth through the body of a woman. And the fact that they're all growing from these roots is demonstrative of the fact that all women are sisters, that we're all connected, and that we're all made of the same stuff, you know? These two women on either side are both pregnant. And that is obviously symbolic of having children and inviting those spirits here to earth and mothering those children. But the woman in the middle is not pregnant. And that is representative of the fact that all women are mothers, whether they've born children in this life or not. And that there are many ways to be a mother. And also that motherhood is an eternal role. I believe motherhood is something that will continue in the next life and for eternities. And so even women who have not had children here in this life or don't get that experience in this life will still be have the opportunity to mother children in the eternities. Also, because this painting is titled Fruitful, I wanted to also demonstrate how there's more than one way to be fruitful. I think we commonly think of being fruitful as only multiplying and replenishing the earth and having children. But there's other ways to multiply and replenish and add value and create beautiful things and invite growth and the spirit and nurture others and all these ways that we can be fruitful on top of actually multiplying, replenishing, and having children. So that's the painting, and I will share with you some of my process in the beginning of creating this painting, but unfortunately, like I said, I don't have the rest recorded. And give me some feedback. Would you like me to continue recording when things aren't going as planned and I'm having to scrape stuff off or cover stuff up and undo and redo things? Do you want to see that process, or do you like to just see the smooth start to finish? Like, I did this whole painting and it looks like I did it in 2 minutes and it was just smooth and I knew what I was doing the whole time. Is that what you like to watch, or do you want to watch me mess up? So this is an underpainting that I do with it, which is just a wash of a little bit of oil paint and mostly linseed oil. And I've covered the whole canvas in it and then kind of wiped it down, and then I can use the same stuff to sketch out, and it makes it easy to wipe off as I need it so I can make corrections. Out some of the things that I ended up changing in the final painting as you watch me apply this. I did not know what I was going to do in the background, and I just had the impression that I should get started because I was kind of just frozen in, I don't know how I'm going to do the background. I'm not really feeling it, and I just felt like I should get started and maybe I would figure it out as I go. So it ended up being just this interesting process of trial and error in applying the paint to the canvas. And I've never done anything like that. I've never started a painting not really knowing exactly how I wanted to do it. I've always had this plan like perfectly laid out for myself. In the past, I've spent a lot of time in Photoshop editing things around, and I get it just how I want, and then I pretty much just copy it and paint it. This one was different. As you can see now, I'm trying out putting some wings back there. When I was applying that purple paint, I started feeling like, well, this kind of just looks like wings, and I thought, wow, wings would be really neat. Because that is symbolic of motherhood as well, and nurturing, and like a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and so I thought that would be a neat representation. It also makes people think of angels, and so anyway, I toyed around with doing these wings, and as you know, because you've seen the final painting, I did end up taking these off, but I don't remember exactly how many backgrounds I painted, so I went through several, and some of them are not on camera, but in the end, I ended up, after I did the final background and actually thought I was done with the painting, I stared at it for a while and decided that I wanted to put a wash over it. So the background was just yellow and green, and I felt like it was a little intense. And so I took this purple that I kept wanting to put in the background anyway, and I did a glaze kind of over the top of just a really thin color, mostly oil. And it changed the feel of that background color a lot. And I liked how it ended up. So as you can see, I took the wings out. My baby came back for a little while. Now she's down for a nap again. This is so many hours of painting. This is sped up like a lot. So my baby's up, and then I put her back down for naps, and then she's up again, I put her back down for naps. Then it's the next day. So it's kind of fun for me to watch this all in fast motion like this. So now I'm trying out making circles in the background, and you can't really see very well what I'm doing. There is a little bit of paint on the edge of those cans that I was using, but I wanted to do this design where there's like, well, actually, no, I started out with just circles, and then it kind of looked like bubbles. And what happened was I actually, while I was making one of these white circles, I accidentally dropped it right there on the left. You can see I dropped it and it made another circle, and I was like, oh yeah, overlapping circles. The concept of overlapping circles, creating that place where the circles overlap creates a Vesica Pisces. And these aren't perfect Vesica Pisces because they have to be perfectly overlapped halfway to literally be a Vesica Pisces. But the symbolism of that shape was something that I wanted to include, and so I was experimenting with putting these circles. And when I showed my mother this picture of the painting so far in this process, she said it looked like bubbles, and I was like, well, bubbles is not what I was going for. So I try in a minute here, painting them a different color and messing around with them a little bit, and then I decided to just fully take them out again. Sometimes you just do what you gotta do to keep painting and keep the baby happy. I got really into creating these roots here and having them go like clear up into their dresses. And I figured out, after some studying and some feedback from my wonderful family helpers, that the women looked like octopuses. So I didn't know what to do about it, and I was getting really discouraged, but figured out that I needed to bring the roots back down and not have them start clear up their dresses, but have them start lower, so hopefully they didn't end up looking like octopuses in the end. One thing that I have definitely had some practice with in this painting is learning to let go and do things over again and not be afraid of changing a painting once you've started. It's kind of like life. It's never too late to make some changes and improvements and do it better. Every day's a new day. that's it. That's all I recorded. And it's kind of painful for me because I know that there was so much after that. And I'm sorry. I feel bad that I did that. And I wish I hadn't now that I've finished it. But it was just frustrating and I gave up. So I'm going to try not to do that again. I'll try to just keep recording even if I'm messing up. But I'll show you the stuff that I changed. So you can see on my initial sketch and when I first start painting that this area here was, there were branches there, and I decided that I wanted to have like full sunlight coming through. And so I actually moved the branches. And then this branch here was a little bit too thick, so I thinned that out. I actually ended up totally covering up and redoing the middle woman's face. You could see that I was starting to do it there, but her face was actually the last thing I finished, the very last thing. Here's those roots that I changed so they look less octopusy. Hopefully they don't look octopusy. And then this background, let's see if I can do kind of a close-up. I did palette knife scraping, and I ended up putting, like, this green was actually the same as that green. And that was before I put the purple glaze over the top of it. So this is where the purple glaze is. The purple glaze actually starts like right here. And it's a little bit thinner here, and then it gets thicker as it goes down. But the yellow also got darker as it went down. And then that was a pretty intense green, but now it's more subtle and not as bright. And so I think it keeps your focus up on the women instead of down here in the background where you don't really know where to look. And then what else did I change? I don't know. I had to edit, like, keep messing with the size of their arms and their heads and stuff because it was a little off. That's pretty much it. Oh, I need to sign it. I had signed it, and then when I did the purple glaze, I ended up ruining my signature and I had to wipe it off. So, hey, I'll let you watch me sign it. Okay, there you have it. Now the painting is complete. Remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can keep up with my life as a mom of 6 and an artist. See you next time.